too! Okay, so we see a very large polygon that bears some slight resemblance to Tobey Maguire talking to one that seems to resemble Kirsten Dunst, and suddenly, someone steals Marie Antoinette's car. Wanting to please her, Red Pollard immediately runs off and goes into his store-bought Spider-Man costume in order to chase the vehicle. And I do mean chase. Not stop. No, chase. In the last level, he somehow managed to stop the vehicle by webbing up his tires, but in this one, no, he just decides to follow it. Hell, if you get too far away from the damn car, the driver will actually stop and wait for you to catch up. Surprisingly, it turns out the AI actually isn't this stupid, Spider-Man is, as this was a trap set by the Puma, a character that no fan actually cares about. After chasing him through a large apartment complex which apparently the Puma was able to rent out without any problems, he manages to escape out a window. While Spider-Man has a good opportunity to stop him with his webs, he decides not to because of the 20-second rule. I mean, after all, they do have rules of this kind of thing. After running around New York like a fucking jackass, Spider-Man finally manages to corner the Puma at a construction site. A little platforming later, they have a nice fight. And you know, while this isn't that bad, especially compared to the other boss fights in this game, it still fucking sucks. So when beaten, the Puma resorts to having a good old villain monologue, and it turns out that his stealing cars wasn't an entirely gross mischaracterization, but rather a distraction. You see, for some reason, both Doc Ock and the Puma know that Mary Jane is Spider-Man's girlfriend, so that they decided to do the whole thing as a distraction so that Ock could kidnap her. Ock apparently moves pretty damn fast, as in the next level he's already stored Mary Jane at his hideout and is robbing Oscorp. After beating up some henchmen without any assistance or intervention from the police who were right there a few minutes ago, we see Spider-Man go up the elevator to see that... oh no. Oh god no. It's another fucking maze of key cards! Jesus! You know why the console version of this game was so damn successful? Because when you played that game, you actually felt like you were Spider-Man. When I'm playing this, I just feel like some dumbass who spent $50 on it a few years ago. Well, we see on the next floor that for some damn reason, Doc Ock has decided to plant several bombs in the building. At first I thought this would at least provide a change of pace, but no, it just means you have to be more thorough and find every single goddamn one. And worse, now you have to deal with Oscorp's security, which is fucking ridiculous. I mean, electrically charged floors, lasers coming out of the walls, fucking laser cannons on the ceiling? I mean, Jesus. I have fucking spider powers and I'm having trouble getting past this shit. How the hell did Ock's henchmen get where they are? You know what? Fuck the damn wine. I need something a little more potent. Whew! Yeah. Oh, we also see Oscorp's power generator. Not only is it 50 fucking feet tall, but it leaves the entire room it's in electrically charged. Who the hell designed this? I mean, was the entire building built just so someone who had been bitten by a radioactive spider could navigate it? Fuck this game. Fuck it hard. So after he finally disarms all the fucking bombs, Spider-Man finds Doc Ock stealing the tritium, which anyone who hasn't seen the movie won't be able to figure out what it is from this game. Well, we find out that he's left a surprise for Spider-Man. Guess what? You have to fight the Rhino again. How do you fight him? By tricking him into electrocuting himself in the face. And doing it again. And again. And again. And fuck this. Well, somehow the Rhino still manages to keep going, so Spider-Man has to lure him into a weird freezing chamber and break all the coolant tank thingies. Well, Spidey, one of your enemies is now slowly dying of hypothermia. What do you have to say about it?
Nice Rhino. Christmas just comes earlier every year.
I hope he sodomizes you with that horned dick face. Well, the masked murderer leaves Oscorp chasing Ock, only to find out that Mysterio is creating an illusion that some of the buildings in New York are levitating. Oddly enough, though, while he can create this massive illusion, he can't hide the generators that are creating it. Weird. Well, despite a few cheap deaths from things that appear to be within range of Spider-Man's swinging but aren't, you'll actually find that this is probably the closest thing to a highlight the game has. I mean, if nothing else, at least it's kinda creative. Even if Spider-Man seems very calm about what's going on. Well, after you destroy enough of his generators, Mysterio will appear and start throwing meteors at you. Now, you're supposed to pick these up and throw them back, and the person in the footage that I found actually does manage to pull this off. But for me, I never managed to pick up the timing on it, so I eventually figured out that you can just trick Mysterio into flying into buildings, and then while he's cornered, you can beat down on his ass. After you give him a concussion, Mysterio decides fuck it and gets inside some kind of giant armed battle Pope-mobile. After beating that to a shit, he'll eventually confess that Doc Ock is in the train station for some reason. So after fighting your way through a few henchmen, you finally come across Ock standing on top of a subway train, who fights you by throwing shit at you and running away like a pussy. Did I mention how much I fucking hate this game? Oh, and as the fight gets all longer, he starts throwing fucking cars at you, and not only can Spider-Man deflect them with his webs, but he doesn't even try to save the fucking innocent people in them who are falling to their deaths. So, a few hundred casualties later, the train finally crashes at Doc Ock's headquarters, and... Wait, what? Why did it crash? And why at his headquarters? Is that where he was going? Is that the only way he can get there? I'm sorry, but I think if someone who looked like this had to take the train to and from work every day, people would fucking notice. So get this, not only is Ock's hideout fucking massive and full of henchmen, but he has also managed to set up all the electric floors and laser grids from Oscorp, and get this, some of the rooms have no doors. You have to punch your way in. How did Ock get ahead of me? How are there henchmen in this room? I mean, who designs the buildings in this game? This is the most fucked up architecture I've ever seen in my life. I mean, Jesus Christ! So after playing this game for longer than any human being should be allowed to, you finally get to fight Ock for the last time. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say fight him? I meant cause explosions around him while he throws shit at you. God damn it, it's like this game is trying to piss me off. So after rinsing and repeating the same fucking strategy for a minute and a half, Ock decides to commit suicide, the raping of the movie is over, and the game is done. Are you happy? No! This game is awful, it's despicable. I almost want to turn gay just because of how disgusted I am by the sheer thought that anyone who programmed this game came out of a vagina. That is how bad it is. So, after taking this repressed memory and poking it with a red-hot stick for your entertainment, what am I going to do now? I think I'm going to go play with my suicide gun.